ytgomer here with a short presentation on the graphical portion of autorisk. This video will take just a few minutes and it's going to go over just these three parts: the log files, the GD-based Perl script, and the display of the PNG files of the system. You may remember this slide from another video that had the introduction to autorisk. So the log files are basically JSON for one state of the game. Here's an example that will be shown. Again, it's just JSON. This is the substrate for the visual part. Asynchronously and offline, potentially, you'll run the log files through this Perl script. Here's the cron entry for how I do it. So every minute it goes through and it looks for log files and creates PNG files from them. After that, you'll display the PNG files to review the tactics of your bot. Here's an example of a PNG file that gets displayed. And here we are in the middle of the game, and we see a very colorful display. Generals have got some nice grouping. Here you see at the bottom, of course, color-coded. The purple player has three cards, these three cards. If you look on the territory rectangles, you'll see that they either have a C, an A, or an I. That's for infantry, cavalry, artillery. That's the type of card. These are the cards that the players have. Again, color-coded. The territory has what type of card they have. So, once these PNG files have been generated, you can go through and step through and analyze the tactics of your bot in autorisk. So the development cycle is write your code, run a game, analyze the tactics, revise your code, run a game, analyze your tactics in an iterative fashion. You might be interested, I'll just quickly go through. Here is the Perl script, this one here, that generates the PNG files from the log files. And as you can see, the first thing it's going to do is it's going to bring in the map. And right now I just have the one, but of course the maps are customizable. And it'll bring in the JSON and create a hash from that. So let's first take a quick look at the map. Basically what it has is these rectangles define where on the PNG that territory lives, and that's basically what you need to know from the map. That's where it gets the rectangles. If we look at the JSON, it's just a mess. But here is the hash that gets generated from it. Much more organized, and we see this is the actual state file, which has the details needed to not only to generate the PNG file, but this is what the game uses to track state from maneuver to maneuver. Here's the input from the general. Here's a dynamic portion of the map. Of course, it doesn't need to know all that static information, so it just stores the occupier and how many troops are on each territory. And from this player's hash, that's the bottom, that's where you would get the information for this bottom part of the PNG. It has how many cards, what cards, and of course you're gonna add up, or the script adds up all of the territories that a given occupier has. That's where this part, that's where the number of territories comes from here. And of course the script uses the colors defined early on to keep the color coding, so that here at the top part, which outlines the maneuver being executed, that's color coded to what player we're talking about, in this case gray. So there it is, the graphical part of autorisk. I know it's boxy. If you want to help and you can think and you want to create a more visually appealing interface, I invite you to do so. I would recommend, however, you use the same log files as a substrate for your graphical interface. Thanks for watching. Please check out my other videos.